At the end of this video, you will be able to turn this photo into this, and that too with the proper understanding of all the sliders. Hello everyone, my name is Omkar and you are watching OTP Photography. I know this is another long video, but here I am trying to explain everything in detail and everything from basics. So even if you are not a beginner, there is a good chance that you will learn something new out of this video. These are the things that we will be looking into today's video, and the timestamps for the same are present in the description so you can navigate them around. In the last part, we talked about the light panel and we discussed all the sliders thoroughly. So make sure you watch the part 1 and part 2 before going into this video. This is the part 3 of Master Lightroom Mobile Beginner to Expert tutorial series. And in this tutorial, we are going to look at color panel. So let's get into the video. Here we are in the Lightroom mobile application. Now this is our color panel, and when I click here, you can see that we are greeted with all sorts of colorful sliders here. There are few major components in this color panel. The first component are these sliders which you can see on the top. The white balance, tint, vibrance, saturation, color temperature. The second component is HSL panel, or what they call is now as color mix panel. After that we have this black and white button, and at the last we have the grading panel. So now this grading panel is the new feature that Lightroom has added in the recent update. Earlier there used to be a similar feature called split toning which had similar functionality, but the grading feature is much better. Now in this video we will only look at the first three components, that is the basic color sliders, the HSL tab, and at last we will look at the black and white mode. There is going to be a separate video on grading panel which will be also part of this series. So let's get into the first thing, that is white balance. White balance is one of the important factors that affect the color of an image. But if you ask anyone, what is the white balance? Most people are going to refer it as the color temperature. But that is only half of what white balance is. Along with the color temperature, we have something known as tint, which is also a part of white balance. Now depending on the light source in the image, there is a chance that your photo may have what is known as the color cast. So because of which your image might not have exact white balance. If the image have a correct white balance, then a white color in the image will be rendered as white in the final output image. So with the help of white balance, these two sliders, the color temperature and the tint slider, we are going to make sure that there is no color cast in the image. Now let's understand why there are these two sliders only and why their colors are yellow, blue and the green and magenta. So on a color wheel, to determine any color, we have two axes. This is the first axis, yellow to blue color, and the second axis is green and magenta. Yellow and blue are complementary colors, so whenever you are increasing yellow, it is equivalent to reducing blue color, and the same thing goes for green and magenta as well. So using different values of these two sliders, we can remove any color cast from the image. So for example, if you have a yellow color cast in image, so to remove that, we need to move the color temperature slider to the blue color, and the same thing goes for green and magenta. So these two are important sliders in order to make your colors look natural. Now this blue and yellow slider, which is known as color temperature. Now the unit to measure color temperature is Kelvin, but don't worry about this Kelvin scale for now. Just remember this blue and yellow, it is easier to understand. So how do you correct the white balance of the image? Now there are two ways to do that. The first one is by visually looking at the image and adjusting the sliders till you feel that the colors are corrected. But this is not the easiest way of doing it because the colors may vary depending on which display you are using for editing, and it also depends on the color accuracy of your display. So another better way to use this color dropper tool. Now this is a very easy way to correct the white balance. When you select this tool will appear. Now with the help of this tool, you can tell the Lightroom which is the white color in your image, and it will automatically correct the white balance for you. Okay, I hope you understand the concept of white balance, but how do you use it on your photos? First one is to use this color picker tool and select a white or a grey color in your image. Remember from the part 2 of the series, grey color is nothing but a white color with reduced amount of brightness, and white balance is only associated to the color of the photo and not the brightness. So if you want to color correct your images, you just need to use this color picker tool and your colors will look natural. But if you want to give it an artistic look, it all depends on your taste and choice. You can use these sliders and go crazy. So that's it for the white balance. Let us first understand the term saturation and then we'll look at the vibrance. Saturation. The term saturation in photography refers to the amount or intensity of the color. Let's take example of red color. This is the red color with more saturation and this is the red color with less saturation. So now it is obvious what saturation sliders will do to the image. It is going to increase the saturation of each and every pixel of the photo. Remember that it is a global effect. You don't have control over on which pixels the saturation will increase. See, if I increase the saturation slider here, see how it is affecting the whole image. And now let's talk about the vibrance slider. Now you can consider the vibrance slider as a smarter saturation slider. When we increase the vibrance, as you can see, it will only increase the saturation of midtones. Now what is midtones? Midtones are the pixels with brightness around 40 to 60% of greenness. It is the region between shadows and highlights. Watch the part 2 of the series if you haven't watched already, where I have explained all these terms in great detail. So at the end, the bottom line of the whole thing is that you should use the vibrance slider instead of saturation because it gives you more control over the image. Saturation is one of the trickiest sliders while editing. For a beginner, it may look all great and colorful while you increase the saturation, but there is a good chance that you can get carried away with it and you can ruin the image. There is a very fine line between a good amount of saturation and oversaturation. Also, the color saturation will depend on the screen that you are looking at. So there is a good chance that you can overdo it. Many beginners make this mistake and can make the image look completely unprofessional. The key here is to practice more and more, and eventually your eye will get better at understanding saturation of the image. But for beginners, to be on the safer side, there is a small tip that I can give. For example, you are playing around with vibrance and saturation slider and you see that vibrance of around 40 is looking good. So reduce it to 35 and that way you will be on the safer side of the things. Slightly desaturated image is always better than an oversaturated image. Now let's move on to the next section, which is the HSL panel or the color mix panel. Now HSL means hue, saturation and luminance. Out of these three terms, we just discussed about the saturation, and luminance is nothing but the brightness, and which we talked about in the second part of the series. Now let's look at what is hue. To define any color, we need three things. First one is the actual color. Let's look at this color wheel. Here we need to choose which color we want to have. Then we need to look at the saturation of that particular slider, whether we need less or more saturation of that color. And at the end, we will have to look at the brightness of the color. So these three things will determine the final color. And out of these three things, which are referred to as the color, is basically known as hue. So hue is always represented on a color wheel, and so its value will range from 0 to 360 degrees. So here in this panel, we have control over all the colors, and in each color we can change the saturation, luminance and hue. To show you the working of these sliders, let's open up an image. Here in this image we have different segments of all the different hues, ranging all the way from red to magenta and then again at red. Let's first look at the red color. So I'll select the red color here. So let's first look at the hue part. Here on this slider, you can see that slider color are varying from magenta, then red to then orange color. So here if I change the hue towards the pink color, as you can see the red is becoming more and more magenta. And the same goes with when I increase the hue and it will turn to the orange color. So it is basically changing the hue of the red color. So you can shift this red color towards the orange color or towards the magenta color by changing the hue. Let's look at the hue of other colors as well. So let's get into the orange. Now adjacent to the orange, we have two colors. One is the red and another one is the yellow color. So if I change the hue towards the red, as you can see, the orange has become red. And when I increase the hue, orange has become yellow. So let's just quickly look at a few more colors. Let's look at the blue color, for example. So two adjacent colors for blue are aqua color and the purple color. If I reduce the hue, blue is becoming more and more aqua, and if I increase the hue, blue is becoming more and more purple color. So I hope you understand the working of the hue slider. Now let's move on to the saturation. Now saturation we discussed earlier what it exactly does. The color mix panel gives us the control over the specific colors. Now from this image, if you want to reduce the saturation of only red color, then for that we need to go to the red color, and then let's just see what happens when I reduce the saturation. As you can see, it is only affecting the saturation of red color and the similar colors around it. So see what happens when I increase and decrease the saturation. Again, same thing with yellows, greens, and aquas and blues. For example, in your image, you have a red flower. Then to increase the saturation of that particular red color, so you can use this color mix panel. So at the end, we have the luminance slider. So we talked about how luminance is nothing but the brightness of the image. Or in this case, it is the brightness of that particular color. Let's go into the red panel. We have this luminance slider. If I decrease the luminance, it is making the red color darker. And if I increase the luminance, it is making the red color more and more bright. And the similar thing happens with all the other colors. So let me just repeat all the things that I said about hue. With the help of hue slider, you can shift the color to its adjacent color from the color wheels. From the saturation slider, you can change the saturation of that particular color. And with the luminance, you can change the brightness of that particular color. Now I know all these sliders are a lot to understand, and it can be a little intimidating as well. Again, as I said earlier, practicing will make you better and better at these things. At the end of the video, we are going to edit some photos. But in this video series, I am majorly focusing on to explaining the basics and to make sure that you understand how these sliders work. I hope you all understood the HSL panel. Now let's move on to the black and white mode. Now to make any image black and white, we have two methods in the Lightroom. So one way of doing it is basically reducing the saturation slider to -100. And now we have a black and white image. But now all of these settings in the color tab won't have any effect on the image, because we have completely reduced the saturation and all these settings only affect the color of that part. And in the black and white image, we have only retained the brightness and not the color. So to give a better control over a black and white image, we have given this black and white mode. So if I just tap on it to turn it on, it makes the image black and white. But with that, it still gives us ability to control the brightness of each color. Let me explain. So if I go here in the color mix tab, as you can see here, we have only option to change the luminance as we turn on the black and white mode. So it gives us the ability to control the luminance value of these colors even after we have turned it into a black and white. So I hope you understand that black and white mode and how it affects the image. So now we have looked at all the settings, and now let's just go and edit some photos. So this was the image from the last video that we edited. We only made corrections to the light tab in the last part. Now let's move on to the color tab. So here in the color tab we can so now here in the color tab, let's first adjust the white balance. I'll use the color picker tool, and for reference I'll use this gray skies to make sure that my colors are accurate. So I'll just hit OK here. As you can see, it has shifted the temperature to -8 and tint to +5. Now as I said earlier, don't touch the saturation slider at start. I will increase the vibrance a bit. So vibrance around 13 is looking good. We will not use this saturation or vibrance too much here because we will be changing those settings in the HSL tab. So let's first look at green colors. So in the green color, let's see what happens by changing the hues. Right? I'll reduce the hue to make it look a little yellowish. I'll slightly increase the saturation of the green color, and we'll try reducing and increasing the luminance. I feel the increasing the luminance is looking nice. So now let's move on to the blue color. As you can see how the hue affects the blue color. So slightly reduced hue to bring that cyan look in the image. I'll increase the saturation of the blue and decrease the luminance slightly. Let's move on to the orange color. It will affect the ground part of the image. So I'll make it a little reddish and I'll increase the saturation a little and increasing the luminance. Yeah, this is looking nice. I'll play around with the yellow color as well because the trees are highly affected by yellow and green color sliders. So I'll slightly reduce the hue for yellow color as well and increase the saturation. Slightly increase the luminance. So that's it from the color mix panel. With this minimal amount of settings, see the difference that we made. This is the before and this is the after. See what a huge difference we have made using. This is before and this is after. Now let's move on to the second image. So this was the second image from the last video that we stopped on. So I'll just quickly reset all the settings. I'll increase the shadows a bit. I'll reduce the blacks a bit. Increase the contrast slightly and reduce the highlights. and reduce the white slightly. So this was our first edit in the last video. Now let's move on to the color tab. So here I'll use the color picker tool, and now I know that these buildings were white in color, so I'll just go on that and click OK. So the white balance is set. Now on the vibrance, if I increase the vibrance, see how it affects. So let's say for example you see that around 50 is looking good, so I'll recommend you to reduce it by 10, so around 40 is on the safer side. Now let's go to the color mix panel. Here I'll go into the yellow tab. I'll reduce the hue slightly. I'm shifting the yellow color towards the more of an orange color, and it will give that sunset look to our image. Now to affect the sky, we'll go to the blue color. We'll slightly reduce the hue, not too much. The effect is very subtle. We'll increase the saturation a lot, around 50, and we'll decrease the luminance. That will darken the skies a little bit. And now on the orange color, so slightly increase saturation, play around the luminance, so slightly reducing the luminance as well. Also another thing that I didn't mention earlier is this correction tool over here. If I tap on that, basically let's say if I want to change the hue of the orange color and I don't know which all slider I should touch on that, so basically I can select that tool, I can go to the hue part and I can swipe around the image. You see how it is affecting the hue of both the orange as well as the yellow color. Yeah, so that much is looking good. On the saturation front, I'll also again affect the saturation. See how it is affecting the saturation of both orange and yellow color. And the same goes with the blue color. Now this is a very handy tool because sometimes you may not know which sliders to control to affect which part of the image. So you can use this tool to better handle your images. Yes, that's it. So we are done with the edit. So let's look at the before and after. So this is the before and this is the after. See what a huge difference. Now as I promised in the starting of the video, we will be editing this photo. Okay, so we have this photo in the Lightroom. Now let's go to the light tab. I'll increase the contrast, slightly increasing the highlights. We'll decrease the shadows here to make that dark look, slightly reduce the blacks as well. Yeah, so after the light tab, we have made a slight adjustment here. Now let's move on to the color tab. I'll reduce the vibrancy. Now going into the color mix panel and into the green color, I'll increase the hue and slightly decrease the saturation and increase the luminance a bit. See the difference? Now I can also use this tool and changing the saturation. So we are done with all the settings from the color tab. So this is the before and this is after. That's it from today's video. I hope you learned something new. Do follow me on Instagram at OTP Photography and make sure you hit that like button on this video and do share this video with your photographic enthusiastic friends. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one.